These are the ones who will earn Allah's mercy. And so the door to mercy is Muhammad alayhi salatu. And so when the Hijrah took place, and that Prophet has now arrived in Medina, and the cream of Jewish scholarship is in Medina. And, Rabbi, what are you doing in Medina? An Arabian city. The Rabbi would reply and say, well, our prophets told us that that prophet who is going to be coming will come to this city. That is why we're here. So when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ arrived in Medina after the Hijrah, the window of opportunity is now open for Banu Israel. If they accept him as the Prophet of Allah, Allah will forgive them. He makes it easy for them to accept him. He makes it easy for them to recognize that the same God who sent Moses alayhi salam is the same God who has now sent Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. He's made it easy for them because he performs his prayer in the direction of their Qibla. He turns towards Jerusalem, not Makkah, for prayer. That was difficult for an Arab. Secondly, he fasts with them on the days when they fasted and in accordance with their law of fasting. You know what is their law of fasting? You begin the fast at sunset. And you fast all through the night and all through the next day. No food, no water. And you couldn't go to your wives during the night. Now it's real difficult for the Arabs. Real difficult. So he fasted with them on the days when they fasted and in accordance with their law of fasting. To make it easy for them to recognize that the same God who has sent down the Torah is the same God who is now sending down the Quran. But after 17 months in Medina, it has now become plain as daylight that they have rejected Muhammad alayhi salam, the Arab, as the Prophet of Allah. And they have rejected the Quran as divine revelation. It has become plain as daylight that they are now openly conspiring to destroy Islam. This is there in the books of Sirah. This is not fiction, this is history. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did something momentous in history. He changed the Qibla. Turn away from Jerusalem. Turn now to Makkah. So the door is closed. You had your chance, and you blew it. Turn now to Makkah. The window of opportunity is closed. And he declared, Tilka ummatun qad khalat. That religious community is now history, dismissed. And he declared of this one, Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You are the best, which we have raised for the benefit of mankind, provided ta'muruna bil ma'ruf. You enjoin what is just and what is right, regardless of the price you have to pay. وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. And you struggle against that which is false and unjust, regardless of the price you have to pay. If you do that, you are the best to have been raised for the benefit of mankind. And so now the door is closed for Banu Israel. They can no longer earn Allah's mercy. What punishment is now waiting for them? Allah speaks again in Surah Al-A'raf, and He declares, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكَ لَيَبْعَثَنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ مَنْ يَسُومُهُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ. And your Lord has announced that He is now going to raise against them those who will inflict upon them until the last day. The worst possible punishment. When the Quran speaks, you better listen. Who are those who are now going to be raised? Who will now continue in their struggle until the end of history, and who will inflict upon Banu Israel the worst possible punishment. Who are they? The Quran itself answers and tells us about the first. There are two of them. Two who will be raised. I now come to Surah Al-Anbiya, and there are two verses. It is somewhere around 94, 95, 96. And I would urge you when you go back home to go find these two verses in Surah Al-Anbiya. Anbiya is number 21, Surah number 21. Allah speaks about a town, which He destroyed. And the people were expelled from that town. And then they were banned from returning. They could come back as tourists, that's okay, but they cannot come back to reclaim that town as theirs. Until and unless Gog and Magog are released. And when they are released, they spread out in every direction. Then these people will be brought back to reclaim that town. Let us quote the Arabic. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ حَتَّى إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. Question 1. Which town is it? Question 2. Agag and Magog. The Prophet said, Gog or Ya'juj is an ummah of Banu Adam. So they're human beings. He said, Ma'juj is an ummah of Banu Adam. So Gog and Magog are human beings, just like you and I. However, Gog and Magog differ from you and I because of a hadith in Sahih Muslim, Hadith al-Qudsi, in which Allah says, I have created creatures of mine so powerful that none but I can destroy them. And so when they are released, Gog and Magog, with their indestructible power, they'll take control of the world. They will establish the world order of Gog and Magog. And since their power is indestructible, only Allah can destroy it, it would appear to Francis Fukuyama that this is the end of history. When Gog and Magog are released, then they will use their power, their control over the world is spread out in all directions. And now you will see the people of this town being brought back to the town to reclaim it. Which town is it? We have now come to a crucial part of our subject, Jerusalem in the Quran. Then you will see these people being brought back to their town. Not as tourists, to reclaim it. Which town is it? That is the question. Who should answer that question? Let us go to a man named Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Meaning, let us go to the hadith. Let us look for all the ahadith that there are on Gog and Magog. In 9 books of hadith, there are 58 ahadith. I've gone through all 58 of them. Let us look to see whether there is any town which is mentioned connected with Gog and Magog, which was destroyed by Allah.